Welcome to Learn Arabic. مرحبا بكم في تعلم العربية.
Arabic conversations.
محادثات بالعربية.
Before we start, leave a comment below. Suggest a topic to discuss in Arabic conversations, and I'll do my best to post a video about it. And now let's get started. Let's listen to this conversation in Arabic between two friends. We'll listen first without translation, but don't worry, I'll show the translation later. But for now, listen, and don't forget to read along.
كيف حالك يا صديقي؟
لست بخير.
أنا آسف، ماذا حصل؟
تركت وظيفتي من أيام.
لماذا؟
خفضوا مرتبي، فاضطررت لتقديم استقالتي.
هل تبحث عن عمل الآن؟
نعم.
أتمنى أن تجد وظيفة أفضل قريبا.
شكرا لك يا صديقي.
Let's explain this conversation now. كيف حالك يا صديقي? This sentence is a question. It starts with the question word كيف, how, followed by the noun حالك. حالك is formed of حال and the joined possessive pronoun كاف that you see at the end of the word. So حالك is the form of the second speaker singular, which means your state. Then the two final words يا صديقي. يا صديقي is my friend. Friend is صديق. The possessive pronoun my is that final letter ياء that you see linked to صديق to make صديقي one word. So the kaf at the end of حالك is your state, and the ya at the end of صديقي is my friend. لست بخير. I'm not good. لست is a negative word. Here it means I am not. Just these three letters. لام, سين, تاء. In fact, there is no verb in this phrase. It is just I not. لست. بخير means good. So, لست بخير is I am not good. أنا is the subject pronoun I. آسف is an adjective and it means sorry. So it is basically I sorry. أنا آسف. That's one aspect of the Arabic language. So this sentence أنا آسف is complete without a conjugated verb. ماذا حصل? What happened? ماذا is a question word which means what. حصل or حصل is verb حصل in the past tense. So both ماذا حصل is what happened. تركت وظيفتي من أيام. I left my job a few days ago. So تركت is I left. There is no I here. There is no أنا here preceding the verb ترك. And the verb is found here in the past tense. تركت. وظيفتي is my job, and the indication of my in that word is the ya at the end of the noun وظيفة. من أيام, a few days ago. من is a preposition that means from, and أيام is the word for days. Day, one day is يوم, and the plural is أيام. لماذا is another question word which means why. لماذا. خفضوا مرتبي. This sentence is made up of two words. The first one is خفضوا, they lowered. In Arabic, sometimes we don't need a subject pronoun, since the verb conjugation itself will show this subject pronoun, and this is the case of خفضوا. So we don't need to add they as a separate word with that verb. How do we know that it's they, masculine? It's because خفضوا, the verb, ends with these two letters, واو ألف. And verb خفضوا is conjugated in the past tense. They lowered. The second word, مرتبي, means my salary. We know by now that this final ya at the end of a noun will indicate that this is my. So, مرتب is salary, but مرتبي is my salary. فاضطررت لتقديم استقالتي. فاضطررت, another verb conjugated in the past tense, which means I had to. Again, this verb has no separate subject pronoun, so it doesn't have something like I, أنا. Instead, we can know that it is the first speaker from the letter ت that we find at the end of the verb. فاضطررت ت. Now, I want to draw your attention to the first letter, the letter ف. It's added to the verb, and it indicates a consequence, like saying, so I had to. As a consequence, I had to. And I would also like to draw your attention to the pronunciation of the two repeated letters of ra. فاضطررت. In Arabic, when we have a repeated letter, like in this case, we pronounce them separately. We don't join them when we pronounce them. We pronounce them as two separate letters. فاضطررت, or two separate sounds. So these two letters make two separate sounds. فاضطررت. لتقديمي. This is basically a verb in the infinitive form with a preposition in front of it, to offer. لتقديم. This to is the lam that is joined to the verb تقديم للتقديم. استقالتي my resignation. استقالة resignation. My resignation is استقالتي, which is made by adding this final ياء to the noun استقالة. هل تبحث عن عمل الآن? Are you looking for work now? هل is a question word for yes and no questions or closed questions. تبحث, you look for. Again, you, we don't have you as a separate pronoun. We just have the verb تبحث, which has a ta at the beginning, which means you look for. هل تبحث. And the verb is conjugated in the present tense with the second person pronoun, singular and masculine, you. هل تبحث. And just like in English, when you say look for, تبحث is followed by the preposition عن, which in that case is for. Do you look for? عمل is the word for work, and it is a noun. الآن is now. I also want to draw your attention to the harakat that are shown on top or under some letters, as you see in that sentence. These harakat, they do the role of vowels. Usually, a modern Arabic text is typed without them. You would only see them probably in textbooks to teach the Arabic language, or in old texts, or sometimes in cases where a word might be confused with another. In that case, they add those harakat to avoid such confusion. And now back to our conversation. نعم is the answer to هل تبحث عن عمل الآن, which means yes. And نعم opposes to لا, which means no. أتمنى أن تجد وظيفة أفضل قريبا. I hope you find a better job soon. أتمنى, I hope. As usual, I, which means in Arabic أنا, is omitted. It's not present in the sentence. And we know that it is I hope from the way the verb تمنى is conjugated here in the present tense. We know that because it starts with ألف همزة, أتمنى, at the beginning of the verb أتمنى. أن, this is a connection word usually used before a verb. تجد is verb find. You find. I hope that you find. This is just the verb without the subject pronoun, just like we saw before. The indication of the subject, which is the second person speaker and masculine, singular, is the first letter ت. وظيفة here means a job, and it's a feminine word, a feminine noun. And as you see, there is no indefinite article like a or an in English. We don't have that in Arabic. أفضل means better. قريبا means soon. Notice that قريبا has a noon sound, but without actually write it. So we don't have the letter noon at the end of قريبا, we just have this letter ألف مد with the two فتحة on top of it. And we call this phenomenon التنوين, where we make the sound of noon without actually writing the letter noon. شكرا لك يا صديقي. Thank you, my friend. شكرا is thank or thanks. And as you see, it has the same tanween that we saw before in the word قريبا. It's also read as شكرا without writing the noon. لك means to you. It's just these two letters, the lam and the kaf. The lam is to, T-O, and the second kaf is you, to you. شكرا لك, thank you. يا صديقي, as we saw before, صديقي is my friend. And yeah, that precedes صديقي is just an interjection that we usually use when we want to draw someone's attention or call someone, which simply means my friend. Thank you, my friend. شكرا لك يا صديقي. Now, let's listen to the conversation one more time, this time with the English translation.
كيف حالك يا صديقي؟
How are you, my friend?
لست بخير.
I'm not good.
أنا آسف. ماذا حصل؟
I'm sorry. What happened?
تركت وظيفتي من أيام.
I left my job days ago.
لماذا؟
Why?
خفضوا مرتبي. فاضطررت لتقديم استقالتي.
They reduced my salary. So, I had to offer my resignation.
هل تبحث عن عمل الآن؟
Are you looking for work now?
نعم.
Yes.
أتمنى أن تجد وظيفة أفضل قريبا.
I hope you find a better job soon.
شكرا لك يا صديقي.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, and see you next time.